Hello beautiful people, and you are welcome to my channel. So remember last week I promised to talk about how you can understand your children's temperaments and build on their weaknesses. I keep to my word, so today I am going to talk about how you can understand your children's weaknesses and build on their weaknesses. So do not forget to like, to comment and to subscribe. So let's delve in. Okay, let's be truthful now, parents. How many of you kind of quietly or secretly prefer that bold, audacious, outgoing child over the quiet, more reserved, shy, artistic child, or vice versa? Or maybe you complain secretly that your child is rebellious. I'll talk to you more about it in the course of the video. So some of the reasons why it is important for us parents to understand our children's temperaments is so that we can adapt our parenting skills to each child. So we give them individualized treatment, right? And understanding the temperaments, it's not because we want to change them, because we believe that each child is unique. So we understand their temperaments because we want to bring out the best and the uniqueness in them. So about 2,500 years ago, a very wise man, we've all heard about him, Hippocrates, he identified 4 temperaments, which are choleric, sanguine, phlegmatic, and melancholic. So he identified it, and over the years and more recently, it has become very popular. So now there are some arguments that it's not really ideal or it's not accurate. It is not accurate when you use them in isolation. So let me talk about the 4 temperaments and how it applies to our children. But we have to realize also that most children also can exhibit 2 or 3 of the temperaments and have one dominant one. So the dominant temperament interferes or overlaps with the other ones. So its expression in its child is different, slightly or remarkably. So the choleric children are the strong-willed children. I call them the little leaders. They are audacious, they are bold, they are go-getters, they are really people person though. They are argumentative and they always like to win. They have a very fiery temperament, a very fiery way of expressing themselves, and they are very, very aggressive. They are argumentative and they like to win, and they're also quite temperamental. And you see some children throwing tantrums once in a while. I'd like to believe the children that likes to throw tantrums are the choleric children. And some parents find it a bit difficult to navigate them because they really have a very strong sense of personality, they have a strong sense of value, and they do know what they want. So there's a mistake we parents, we Nigerian parents, African parents, I speak for Nigeria because I'm Nigerian, and I see something that we do here which is so wrong. We think the choleric children are stubborn, and so we want to break their will. You're a stubborn child, I will break their will. And so they go all out there to break the child's will. Remember, your choleric child is a born leader. That child could be the president, and you are breaking that child's will. What would you want the child to become when you have taken the uniqueness, the extra in the child? You have broken the will, and you have now left the child in an identity crisis. So what do? What we can do as parents is to identify that extra, that will, that's the audaciousness that makes a choleric child a choleric and a leader. So now you have a choleric child, maybe you're trying to correct that child or something. Rather than go fire for fire, what we as parents could do is to calm the child down and make them see reason with you because they are logical. I'm a choleric mother and I have a choleric son, so I speak from experience. So now when you engage in a verbal altercation with a choleric child, remember, arguments is his comfort zone and you don't win, you may lose respect in the eyes of the child. He may not respect you. He or she may not respect you. And if that continues, as a parent, you have really lost it out from the child. And also, if you also always engage in arguments with your choleric child, you become at loggerheads. And then again, it will be difficult for you to be able to bring out the best in the child. You are now looked upon as an enemy. So what we can do instead is to set boundaries and limitations with them. You give them reasons why you are doing certain things and be firm in your decision making, because they would look for ways to test you and to test the boundaries. Also give them responsibilities in the home and make them accountable to you. And one something which I found very remarkable is to set examples for them. We know that children learn by examples, but for that choleric child, he wants to see humility in you. So for that choleric child, you teach them to be humble. When you are wrong, you say, I am sorry. So it's teaching them to put down their pride and learn when to say sorry. And also, I found out that a lot of choleric children also like routines. So give them a routine to work with and to help them with the excess aggression, the excess energy they have, keep them occupied. So let's move over to the sanguine children. They are the happy, lively, cheerful, sunny, vivacious children that most people like to be around with. And they also like people, so they are very people-oriented. When a sanguine comes into a room, you hear them first of all before you see them. They can break a plate, they shout, someone is hailing them or the other. So you hear them, they are really very outspoken, and they love to socialize. They draw strength from being around people, and they tell stories a lot, And because they like to tell stories a lot and they like to be around people and they want people to always be happy, they tend to go overboard in their stories. They may tend to lie here and there, So we as parents, we should realize that this is who our sanguine child is. They are sunshine. They like to be happy. They like to socialize. So we now as the parents, let me bring it now to my area, my continent, Nigeria. I have witnessed a couple of parents. They may not understand that your sanguine child likes to be happy and likes to be about people, and they may want to kill that spirit by saying every time stay at home, or why are you always happy? You may have a melancholic parents, father or mom, who is giving into mood swings and may unconsciously want to steal the joy. I call it the joy, steal the joy of that child. And when you take away the happiness of your sanguine, you have left them in an identity crisis, because that is what makes a sanguine child a sanguine, their ability to always remain happy and also the ability to make friends. So now what do we do as parents with sanguine children? The first thing we should realize is that they are gifts to us. So enjoy them, be happy with them. Be their biggest cheerleaders and allow them express their personality, their creativity, without telling them that they are too much or they speak too much. Guide them to express it reasonably. And we can also teach our sanguine children self-control and responsibility, and to tell the truth at all time, and also to have empathy and listening skills. Remember, enjoy your sanguine children. Now I'm going over to the phlegmatic child. Okay, I have a brother who is phlegmatic and is one of the kindest people I know. And phlegmatics are one of the kindest people on earth. I say that boldly. They are a bit slow-paced. They don't take life in a hurry like the most of us we do. Even though they are introverts, they are people-oriented, so they make good team leaders and they make good supporters. They could be a bit docile, a bit on the timid side, a bit relaxed and very patient. And some people tend to take advantage of that. And because of that relaxed attitude and never been in a hurry, people think they are passive, having this passive outlook on life. Now, the biggest challenges I have with phlegmatics are the reactions of other people to them. They are usually the butt of jokes, practical jokes, and also the butt of bullies. People, their mates and schoolmates and other people tend to bully them, thinking they may be slow. They are very vulnerable, and I see even teachers taking advantage of them too, trying to think, compare them with the other temperaments in a class. And also when we look at parenting for the phlegmatic, your phlegmatic child is different totally from your choleric or sanguine. And some parents may want to this child, are you stupid? Where did you get this from? You didn't get that from me. They tend to verbally or sometimes physically abuse that phlegmatic child. And when you as a parent or anybody in authority does that, you break their confidence totally. Remember, I said they are vulnerable. So we should look for ways to always say positive things to them. And because they are kind, you treat them kindly and you give them all the love that they need and deserve. And in case you have a phlegmatic child amongst choleric, sanguine children, and maybe they've had an exchange, a verbal exchange, you should always go back to that phlegmatic child and talk to them and encourage them and ask them questions so that they can verbalize how they feel. Teach them to verbalize their feelings, because they tend to clamp up. And when they clamp up, you may never get anything out of them. So, we are making progress. Let's move over to the melancholic children. All right, so the melancholic children are also introverts and different from the phlegmatics, though they are task-oriented. They're quiet, they are sensitive, they are tender, they are sweet, they're creative, very creative. They have this rich abilities, mental abilities, They think of things, they are problem solvers. They set high standards for themselves, and when they cannot meet the standards that they have set for themselves, they may be given into moods, And they also have very high problem solving skills. They are very lovable children. I have a son, my second son, he's melancholic, and I call him Chocolate because I have never met anyone as sweet as him. They are kind. They can give you everything they have just to put a smile on your face. But they are given into mood swings. And people like them genuinely because they love genuinely. They are kind from inside here, inside their core, and they're really very well behaved. So it's, because they have such a very rich temperament and their outlook, their quiet, their disposition is to be quiet. People often find it difficult to relate with them. So you give your melancholic child all the love, all the care, all the attention that they need, and you listen to them. More recently we've been hearing that kids, children, teenagers have been committing suicide. And I read about a couple of them, and the descriptions I read made me realize that they may be melancholic children. They found it difficult to express themselves. They found it difficult to be understood. And then they entered into a mood. And it was difficult for them to come out because they didn't even understand what even took them into the mood in the first place. So we as parents of melancholic children should watch out of such telltale signs. Do not really allow them to live in their own world for so long. So we African parents that like to do tough parenting, remember you have a sensitive child who is melancholic. So keep aside your tough parenting and understand the child and give him or her the love that she needs, he needs. Give them the undivided attention because those children are quite sensitive. It's easy for them to be at the background. And the sanguine, the choleric, the ones that are always in front of you, you always view them. You forget that there's a melancholic child. So try and understand them, love them, and give them space and room to express their creativity and artistic tendencies. Let's prevent them from entering into a depressive mood. So all said and done, I'd like to say again that most people hardly fall squarely into one of these four categories, but they are blends of it. So you may have a child who is choleric but has other characteristics of a sanguine or of a melancholic. So there are blends. I think we have about 16 blends or so. And do not just take everything hook, line and center and say, okay, my child is behaving like that, therefore she's choleric. No. I'm going through all of this so that we can understand them and see how best to guide them, okay, to express themselves better and to build on their weaknesses. And for us to be able to, understand them, I made a video about 2 weeks ago on the 9 temperament traits using the acronym Mass Rapid. Please, I would like you to go back to that video, watch it, and use the 9 temperament traits along with these 4 temperaments and the explanations I have given to understand your children. And there's more coming though. Let me leave you hanging. All right, so send in your comments. Let me see how this has helped. And you can DM me, send me a message if you need help here and there, and I'll try as much as I can to answer every message within 24 hours. All right? I pray with you for the grace you need to be able to understand your children for who they are and to love and appreciate them individually. And remember, I am right here holding hands with you through it all. God bless you.